To present the paper titled Kaipilly Mana, the Paternal Family of Adi Shankaracharya, History and Migration. So a brief introduction on Mr. Ramachandran Kaippilly is the eldest son of late Sri Kaipilly Krishnan Pattadiripadu, a retired teacher, and Srimati Gauri Antharjanam of Venmanai Mana, Sri Moolanagaram. He is a postgraduate in HR and Finance with over 33 years of distinguished experience in human resource across India and abroad. He currently serves as Vice President HR at AVT McCormick Ingredients, a joint venture between AVT of India and McCormick of the USA. Over to you, sir.
Namaskaram. Respected members of this august gathering, it is both an honor and a privilege for us to present this paper on behalf of entire Kaipilly Mana members on the illustrious legacy of our family, Kaipilly Mana, and its ancestral connection to Jagadguru Sri Adi Shankaracharya. This paper does not attempt to revisit the well-documented historical and philosophical contributions of Sri Adi Shankaracharya, which are widely known both in India and abroad. The focus here is on the sacred oral traditions and ancestral narratives preserved within our family, Kaipilly Mana, and their connection to the great sage. This study offers a detailed examination of Kaipilly Mana and traces its historical connections with Jagadguru. In doing so, it draws upon the recorded trajectories of Brahmin migrations across Kerala, the rivalries between two major scholastic centers such as Shukapuram and Pannur, and the rich genealogical traditions preserved in both oral narratives and written sources. There is no conclusive evidence of the time of the migration of Brahmins into Kerala. Most historians place it in the early Sangam period, which is between 300 BCE and 100 BCE. According to traditional accounts, there was a Brahmin migration to Kerala region from places such as Panchanadam in present-day Punjab, upper Gangetic plains in present-day Uttar Pradesh, and from places in Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. The migrants reached present-day Gokarna by sea. It's clearly mentioned in Kerala Charitram, published by Kerala Sahitya Academy. They settled across 64 gramams of settlements from Gokarna to Kanyakumari in Kerala. Of these, 32 settlements were established in south of the Chandragiri River, near present-day Kasargod, while remaining 32 were located to north, in what is now called South Karnataka. Among these 32 settlements, some families moved to Shukapuram and Pannur on the banks of Bharatapura and emerged as prominent centers of Vedic learning and ritual authority. Now we come to the origin of Kaipilly Mana. Our historical roots were with Pannur Gramam, one of the original 32 Nambutri settlements. It is believed that Medattur Agnihotri, between 3rd and 5 CE, conducted 99 yagnas to revive yagna tradition. And the number of families from Taliparamba, Alathur, Kerikad, Pannur, Shukapuram, Piruvanam and Inyalakuda aided and participated in various roles in this yagna. These families were grouped into 8 grihams. 5 grihas were affiliated with Pannur and rest 3 were with Shukapuram. Vella Griham in Shukapuram is one amongst these 8 settlement grihams. It is believed and documented that Kaipilly Mana belongs to Vella Griham. Later, due to frictions between Pannur and Shukapuram for authority, many families from 5 grihams of Pannur moved to other gramas of then social structure. Mother Aryamba's family, Melpadur Mana, belonged to Padur Griham. Migration of Kaipilly Mana from Pannur to Iringalkuda. Our migration out of Pannur was caused by the conflict between our ancestral village and Shukapuram. Kaipilly Illam, originally a member of Vella Gramam lineage, along with several like-minded families, initially migrated to a place in Iringalkuda Grama. Sometimes during their stay, then Vella family had only one lady member, and later a Brahmin from Kallur Illam married to her. As per the tradition, that's called Vetu Irikal, literally mean married and become a member of the Vella family. The area later became known as Vellangalur because of the presence of Vella family. Generations later, this family split as Villumangalam, Mecheri, Akkarakurishi, Kaipilly, and some other families which are now extinct. Generally, those from Vella Griham were Rigvedis or Angiras or Atri Gotram, Gautama, Pravaram, and from Vella's alliance with Kallur Illam, the family Gotram was changed to Bhrigu or Bhargava, and with Vaitahavya Pravaram. With this, our Paradevata became Annapurneshwari Devi. We still perform regular puja to Annapurneshwari Devi at our ancestral home. Annapurneshwari Stotram or Shatakam, composed by Jagadguru while he was in Varanasi, may be connected with our Paradevata. Sometime during their stay at Vellangalur, Raja of North Paravur invited learned Rigvedi Brahmins to settle in his domain to improve his status. Paravur Raja had his administrative centers at Peruvaram near Paravur. Later, the relationship between the family and the Paravur Raja gradually deteriorated due to disagreement over certain ritual practices, ultimately compelling the family to leave Paravur Desham. Tradition holds that they migrated further northwest to a Paravur place called Manjikad with Murikulam Grama. Murikulam is adjacent to Paravur. Now settlement in Murikulam and then a Manjikad phase. So we are all connecting this to Shankaracharya, how this is very important that these roots are very much required to connect Shankaracharya with our family. It is believed that Kaipilly Mana family may have relocated from Paravur Desham to Manjikad, a locality within the Manyapura Prakriti, a territorial division under Kalady Desham. Geographically, Manjikad lies to the east of Murikulam, and by present-day road routes, the distance between Murikulam and Manjikad is approximately 14 kilometers. So nearby areas to west of Manjikad and east of Mukanur used to called Kokuna. Now it is called Kokuna, but it was earlier called as Gokuna, the go as cow. While no definitive historical record exists to date about the family's migration to Manjikad, oral tradition and regional memory suggest that the area once hosted a significant number of Brahmin families, indicating its possible status as a historical Brahmin settlement. Geographically, Manjikad is situated 9 kilometers from present-day Kalady, further reinforcing its cultural proximity to the sacred landscape associated with Sri Adi Sankara and the broader Nambudiri tradition. During that time, the region encompassing Manyakkad was under the overall rule of Chera Perumal Rajashekara Perumal, a predecessor of Sanu Ravi Verma. He was also called Cheraman Perumal. He is a learned Shaivite saint. Sundaramurti Nayanar used to visit him during his rule. It is said that Rajashekara Perumal had a divine vision of Lord Shiva in dream, which inspired him to construct a Shiva temple and dedicated it for the protection and spiritual upliftment of the lamp. We believe that the Manyakkad Shiva, also called as Telapalli Tevar, temple is the temple built by Rajashekara Perumal, and Kaipilly Illam is situated just close to the temple. Vidyathi Rajan, the paternal grandfather of Adi Sankara, is believed to have pursued Vedic studies at Trikannamattilakam, a place north of Chera capital Tiruvanchikulam. Mattilakam is widely identified with Tirukunnavai, revered in Tamil and Kerala traditions, and believed by many scholars to be where Ilango Adigal composed the epic Silappatikaram. Mattilakam was also the seat of administration where Pancha Mahasabha was functioning. The name Vidyathiraja may have been an honorific bestowed in recognition of his wisdom, with his given name possibly being Shankaran. In keeping with ancestral custom, the first male child in the lineage was often named after the paternal grandfather, a tradition that may have influenced Shankara's own naming. Vidyathiraja's son Shivaguru could be Shivakaran, a common Nambutri name, was similarly steeped in Vedic learning and is believed to have studied at the same Mattilakam institution. The highly learned Shivaguru was married to Arya Devi of Melparur Illam. Melparur Illam was initially at Murikulam, and they belonged to Parur Griham, and Kaipilly Mana belonged to Vella Griham, and can logically conclude that the alliance was with the families of equal status. The couple, distressed by their childlessness, were eventually blessed with a son through the divine grace of Lord Vadakkunatha Shiva of Trishur, a son known to all as Shankaran. The story is well known. It's widely believed that he was born when moon was visible in Tiruvadira constellation in the month of Medam. Beyond the time of Adi Sankara, there are no documented records detailing Kaipilly Mana's history at Manyakkad, despite the presence of significant familial and agricultural activity in the region. Our ancestral property was located to the south of the present-day Manyakkad Shiva temple. A canal, locally known as Manyakkad Thodur Canal, flowed to the south of the Mana. This waterway is believed to have been an ancient course of the Periyar River. The Paleo channel, though now narrowed, still remains traceable and was traditionally regarded as the bathing place of Aryamba, the revered maternal figure in our family lineage. The continued presence of his waterway serves as evidence to the Mana's historical landscape and its intimate relationship with Kerala's sacred geography. Following the catastrophic flood of 1341 in the Periyar River, an event that dramatically altered central Kerala's landscape and led to the decline of ancient settlement such as Muziris, Kaipilly Mana relocated from Manyakkad to present site at Kidangur, which is about 5 kilometers to the west of Manyakkad and near the town of Ankamali. The flood likely rendered continued habitation at Manyakkad difficult, prompting a broader migration of Brahmin families from the region. Upon settling, Kaipilly Mana consecrated a family Shiva temple within their compound known as the Kavalakatta Shiva temple, which is highly connected with the temple of Manyakkad. which remains a spiritual anchor for the lineage to the day. In Kidangur, even 2 generations back, we used to maintain some agricultural land from Trichur Brahmasomadam and in turn leased it to a local farmer. We used to pay the lease amount to Brahmasomadam. Although Kaipilly Mana and other allied families migrated from Manjikad, Kaipilly Mana in particular continued to possess extensive traces of land in and around Manjikad until the partition of our Hindu joint family in the mid-1940s. At Kidangur, we had negligible land for paddy cultivation and agriculture activities were at Manjikad, and producers from there used to be transported to Kidangur via canal that once connected the 2 regions. So during that period, our Illam actively maintained and celebrated the annual Meenamutsavam at Manjikad Shiva temple, a revered occasion that reaffirmed our spiritual and cultural ties to the land. However, following the land reforms, much of the property, including the temple grounds, was lost. Today, the temple at Manjikad, once within a wide compound and center of worship and community gathering, survives on a mere 15 cents of land. It is now managed by local residents with our family offering support. The decline of this one sprawling temple complex connected with Adi Sankara stands as a reminder of the transformation wrought by the time, policy, and shifting societal structure. It has been said our elders that they have seen portions of old structures in and around Manjikad, and even some of the current family members have seen some portion of the old constructions. So the ancestral Theravada, currently at Kidangur, once a vibrant seat of tradition and learning, was eventually demolished in 1978 in response to the practical need of the time. Kodungalur Kunigudan Tappuran, 1864 to 1913, a renowned poet and Sanskrit scholar, mentioned in his book Keralam that Kaipilly is the family of the Jagadguru. He also notes in his article Sri Shankaracharya Kshetram that the temple in Kalady was then not managed by Jagadguru's family. Kaipilly, but 2 other families, Kaipilly and Thaliyatimpilly, along with the Tekkematham. It was managed by 2 of the families and along with Tekkematham. Today, only a few members of our family remains at Kidangur. Yet the spiritual legacy of our lineage endures through our continued reverence of the ancestral deity at Kavalakada Shiva temple. Believed to have been consecrated during our migration from Manjikad, this temple stands as a quiet yet powerful testament to our family's enduring commitment to dharma, tradition, and sacred stewardship. Though time and circumstances have transformed the landscape around us, the flame of devotion kindled generations ago still burns within the precincts of this temple, linking past and present in an unbroken thread of faith. Now, we want to also make some points towards the scholars and texts that discuss the relationship between Adi Shankaracharya and Kaipilly Mana. After the rediscovery of Kalady in the early part of 20th century, several scholars wrote about Shankaracharya, his ancestral families connected to Kalady. These are mentioned in the context of the rediscovery of Kalady. A sort of timeline is placed before the audience. However, the more important question is whether there were texts from Kerala that dated prior to 20th century that discuss the point. And now these points are taken up in the next few paragraphs. In 1817, F.W. Ellis, on the authority of the Keralpati, states that Adi Shankaracharya was born in Kaipilly Illam. It wrote in 2006. Ellis passed away in 1819 and work was published in 1878, Indian Antiquary. Thus, the Keralpati is the earliest text that mentions the connections between the Kaipilly Mana and Adi Shankaracharya, and a reputed scholar such as F.W. Ellis was the first to report it in early 19th century. This was prior to the rediscovery of Kalady. Approximately 1894, directed by the Acharya of Sringeri Matha, Diwan K. Sheshadri Iyer reached Kalady and concluded that it was the place of Adi Shankaracharya. Subsequently, Shankara Jayanti celebrations were commenced and it continued for many years. Nagamaya completed writing the Travancore State Manual by 26 August 1905, where he too stated that Kaipilly Illam is the paternal family of Shankara. The book was published in 1906. It appears that he had independent information and or knowledge about Kaipilly Illam, having surveyed at the Travancore territories in toto. He seems to have added a footnote where he refers to the order of the Travancore government of January 1906. While referring to the order, he states that Kaipilly Nambutri was in possession of the lands at Kalady instead of following the order which mentions the Kaipilly Nambutri as being the owner of the land in Kalady. In 1905, Sringeri Matham sent Srikanta Shastri and retired Justice A. Ramachandran Iyer to meet the king and Diwan of Travancore and to visit Kalady. They noted that Tekke Matham had a branch in Kalady and that the Swamiyar had rights to collect taxes from the local farmers. An order passed by Diwan VP Madhav Rao on January 27, 1906, earmarking the public use of 25 acres of land owned by Kaipilly Nambutri and now in possession of the Tekke Matham Swamiyar and other lands which are associated with the name of Sri Shankaracharya. New temple of Devi Sharada and Sri Adi Shankaracharya was consecrated by the Acharya of Sringeri Matha in 1910. Subsequently, several scholars such as K. Kunyuni Raja, K. R. Venkatraman, attest to Kaipilly Mana being the paternal family of Sri Adi Shankara. In view of Ellis and Nagamaya, which predates the acquisition order of the government of Travancore confirming that the prevailing view in the Nambutri community and Kerala in general that Kaipilly Mana was indeed the paternal family of Sri Adi Shankaracharya. Lastly, Swami Sachidanandra Saraswati of Adhyatma Prakash, Karnataka, after detailed survey and research, wrote an objective work on the life of Shankaracharya in 1963, and he states, the name of his house was Kaipilly Illam. There are two houses here by name Kaipilly Illam and Thalayattimpilly Illam. It is said that at the time of the passing away of Shankara's mother, since one was standing near her head, got the name of Kaipilly, and another near her feet got the name of Thalayattimpilly. These names have come down to their families. Therefore, it seems to be quite well established that Kaipilly Mana was indeed the paternal family of Sri Adi Shankara. This is precisely why community websites such as Nambutri.com reiterates the same fact. Prior to the great flood of 1341, our family lived in Manyakad area, which is 9 kilometers due north of the modern-day town of Kalady. Our family's property at that time spanned thousands of acres. The property extended as far as the village of Manikyamangalam, and it included modern-day town of Kalady during medieval period. The south edge of our property abutted the Periyar. Hence, it is quite possible that the cremation of our revered Mother Aryamba took place in the Dakshina Bhaga of our property, which is typically used for such purposes. Additionally, the Dakshina Bhaga being on the banks of a river likely made it ideal for the obsequies. This is why Nagamaya refers to the site as a crematorium. The Travancore Government Gazette refers to a wall enclosed in a compound. The Shinkeji Acharya, on arriving Kalady, first paid respect to an Ashoka tree in this compound, which marks a spot where Mother Aryamba was cremated. Now, this is the historical aspects we could collect. We are really thankful to Dr. Murali. Because of him, we are standing here today. He had constantly contacted each one of us and pushed us to go deep into the records, pushed us to go deep into our history. And we are really thankful to him for giving us such opportunity. We also extend our thanks to the organizers for giving us this opportunity, Mr. Sridhar and others, our family's connection with Adi Shankaracharya. I also wish to express my gratitude to my family members who supported us for the preparation of this paper. While further research is needed to firmly establish this connection, we continue to rely on the oral account passed down through generations. Our elders have shared that during the early stages of building the Kalady ashram, this ashram, our family donated a big set of palm leaf manuscript about its representatives. Additionally, my late father had mentioned that he contributed a few rare books to the Srinkeri Madha sometimes in 1960s. Thank you all and namaste.